Well, as soon as the World Series ends, we already have another massive drama once again surrounding gambling. So my take on sports betting is I don't like it. I've never been a big fan of sports betting to begin with, and there's obviously a lot of consequences to it. I mean, you guys can see the quote on screen right here about what Ryan Skank said about sports betting. I think the money you put into it, you're just never going to win back because you're always going to keep betting and keep gambling, which is how these companies make so much money. I mean, the thing with the death threats is just insane to me. I think that's absolutely insane that that's even a possibility in today's sport. And Ryan Skank's a relief pitcher. It's not like he plays every day, which is also the weird thing about this whole quote he said. So yeah, that's just incredibly sad to even think about. And I think this sports betting thing needs to be put an end. And MLB actually has done something to do this. And this all kicked off with the Cleveland Guardians pitchers with Clase and Luis Ortiz were indicted by prosecutors in Brooklyn for a lot of charges, which is definitely something interesting to say. And the scheme is to rig bets on pitches thrown in MLB games. Ortiz was arrested in Boston and Clase was not in custody at the time. This was November 9th when Jeff Passan put this tweet out. And there were a lot of scenarios where I think you can see this if you actually go back and watch these guys pitch again, which is kind of crazy to think about. Apparently there was a 23-page indictment against Clase and Ortiz that lays out basically all the schemes for intentionally throwing balls so people could wager them. Because I guess on these betting apps, you can guess if the first pitch is going to be a strike or a ball. So I guess that's where these are coming in. And they say this started in May 2023, which is pretty crazy to think about how long this has probably been going on for. And apparently Ortiz was paid $5,000 for throwing an intentional ball on June 15th. And apparently Clase was given $5,000 for as well. And then apparently they just kept doing this. Apparently they got a $7,000 next time they did it. So kind of crazy the money they're getting for just throwing one pitch wrong. It's also weird because these guys make six figures up to $1 million in earnings every single year. So it's kind of crazy to think that they're just throwing one pitch and getting like $5,000 or $7,000. As MLB trade deadline news says, throwing careers away for $12,000 is insane. Kind of agree with him on that. This is how it all broke down. Apparently MLB contacted federal law enforcement for this whole investigation process, which is pretty crazy that they have to do this. Apparently they were aware of this and they made arrests for this investigation that is ongoing. And then Passan continues to go on to say Clase and Ortiz could face up to 65 years in prison for all their charges in the District of New York, which is literally insane to think about. I mean, 65 years for throwing one pitch wrong and getting $5,000 to $7,000 for it. It's just insane. Like who is doing that? Like, pretty crazy that they didn't think they were gonna get caught and they actually might face prison time for this. And the base that pretty much goes more in detail. I mean, that's what Jeff Passan was doing. This was all in one day, by the way, so pretty impressive kind of how they found a lot of this out quickly. He said an incident of charges related to two pitches he threw in that he was given his best effort in every inning of every game. So it's absolutely crazy news. He eventually comes up with an article about this, pretty much summarizing all of these tweets basically. Crazy they're facing federal charges for this as well. And then a couple days later, Clase arrived in JFK Airport from the Dominican Republic and he was immediately arrested by FBI officials, which is pretty crazy to think about. Basically, this has all been going down over the last week, and they obviously waited after the World Series to announce this news because they didn't want to mess up that good string of PR during the World Series. But pretty crazy situation that's going on now. Obviously, we made this video a while back talking about the gambling problem in Major League Baseball, and now we have full-out arrests for this situation. So it's absolutely insane what has been going on over the last couple of years with this league. And I've already said I don't like betting. I think there's a lot of problems. I mean, we're seeing the consequences right here. You can get arrested, you can have death threats. It's just such a stupid part of the game, in my opinion, that's happening. And MLB actually agrees. So what MLB is doing now, which is actually crazy they have the power to do this, is every sports book that they are working with, I think they said that takes up 98% of the sports booking US market, is having a nationwide 200 betting limit on baseball wagers, centered around individuals' pitches and prohibiting such bets and being included in parlays in an attempt to decrease the incentive for manipulation, MLB announced. So that's pretty crazy. That is really crazy. You can no longer bet more than $200 in individual pitches or parlays, which is kind of crazy. And it's crazy that the league can take this action because this obviously hurts the sports books line, right? But I think the league looks at it like, all right, if you want to continue working with us, this is what needs to happen. And I prop the league for doing that. I mean, that is very good. I think that is very good. Hopefully we don't have as many players trying to bet or manipulation we're seeing in the past, or even the crazy death threats that's apparently going on. I mean, that's just incredibly sad to just hear that whole story. But yeah, they haven't completely killed it, but they have lowered it significantly. I think this is in hope that they can still keep it going, but it not affect the game. So there's still some money to be made there, but it doesn't infect the game, kind of like we're seeing now. But yeah, just an incredible situation that has been going on over the last, 2 years, it sounds like. So this is the solution that they're putting in for this betting problem that we talked about a while ago, and obviously even now we're talking about this, is because I think my key takeaways is that these sports leagues can influence these sports books to do whatever they want. I mean, I think that's the main thing going on. We'll see if any of the other leagues, this is happening in, because who really knows at the end of the day, especially in football or basketball or even hockey, like who really knows what's going on in any of those other sports? I mean, no one really thought that this could ever happen, but apparently it was going on the whole time. And obviously it wasn't major like the Black Sox scandal back in the day where they threw the whole World Series, right? And they all got paid for it. Individual pitches is a little more sneaky that you can kind of get away with, is pretty much what was going on here. So I think that's the first key takeaway, is that the leagues can influence this, right? The leagues can tell these guys what they want to do and they will probably follow, which is pretty crazy to think about. I think my second takeaway is this is still an issue within the sport. I think that's a massive takeaway. This obviously is not a good look for the league, and I think that's why they wanted to do this. And obviously it's not a look on the Cleveland Guardians or the players themselves, obviously. And who knows if anyone from Cleveland even knew this was going on, to be honest. I mean, it's interesting. It's only the two pitchers from their team especially, so I wonder what that has anything to do with it or what's kind of going on there. Or maybe one of them pitched the other idea and they went for it. I don't really know. But it's crazy to say this. I think the third takeaway is we might need to have some kind of protocol in the league for this. Like, some of these teams might have to just tell their players, like, yo, you cannot be on the app. You can't do that. You might have to have a class on this or something. Like, I know that's kind of far-fetched and crazy, but to keep yourself on the field and keep yourself out of prison, I guess is something you have to do. So yeah, pretty crazy. And I think my fourth takeaway is it's technically considered fraud. So I think how this whole works is because you're the participating athlete and you could throw a ball or a strike and get paid for it. I'm pretty sure it's, manipulating the market or fraud or something like that, right? Because, you're not actually betting on someone else. You are the person yourself. Or, if a friend does it and you get the money or something like that, I think that's what it's going to be considered under like federal law or something like that. I think that's how they're going to do it. Now, I'm not no lawyer. That's kind of just what I'm assuming is going to happen. So we'll kind of see what happens with that. If anyone out there has friends, in professional leagues, I probably wouldn't do this with them if I had to guess, because you probably end up in prison for it. So just a quick heads up for you guys out there. But what's your guys' thoughts about this? Those are my 4 key takeaways from this video about this whole sports betting situation and kind of some of my thoughts about it. Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys think about this? Have you bet on this? Did you guys know that this was going on? I just want to hear your general thoughts about this whole betting situation. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys follow me on X for all the updates, Instagram for all the clips, and if you want to join the Discord and play in our MLB The Show tournament we're hosting in December, which is going to be a lot of fun. I want to get as many people as I can, so if you want to play, make sure you join the Discord. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everyone.